Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs. All right, so we got the Wednesday night show. Gonna play around with Puckdoku if you know what that is. If not, I'll explain it. What else we gonna do? Um, yeah, I got a few things. I guess I don't know. There's not a lot of news out there, so yeah, whatever you guys want to talk about. We're in the off season, so and it's a really quiet off season for Montreal, and I expect it to be like that all off season. So we're gonna have a couple of months of trying to come up with ideas for these shows. Anyways, if you're here, say hi, ask me a question. I'm looking also for. I'm working on a prediction video, so predictions for the upcoming season, for the off season, anything to do with the 23-24 season. If you'd like your predictions to get on a video, send me them in my email. The email is in the description of this video. It's talking habs, all one word, at gmx.com. And if you send me a prediction, it might get in the video. So please do that. I'll go see who's here. And we'll go from there because not a lot going on. Hey, Red, how you doing? Hey, bye. All right. So, but no questions. All right, we'll go. We'll lead off with this here. It's not a, I don't know how to put it, but here, a statement released by Alex Galchenyuk after the incident. Basically, he's apologizing. He takes responsibility. He was drinking and blah blah blah. I'm not going to go over everything. We make a lot of fun about Chucky here on this channel, but you know what? In this incident, there's nothing to make fun of. He did the right thing, and he's gone for help. He's in the what do they call it? The NHLPA, NHL players, something, wherever Carey Price went. I forget what it's called, and he's in there for probably alcohol and substance abuse. And you know what? It's the right thing to do. I'm glad for the guy. It's about time he's done it, and I wish him all the best. And you never know. Maybe the guy's still got a couple of years left if he can get himself straight. So Alex Galchenyuk, if you didn't know what happened, he got pulled over or something in, I think, Phoenix, and he was drunk, I guess, and he started mouthing off and threatening the cops and stuff like that. So very ugly incident. Screaming for help, and he took the help, and good on him. So basically, I want to say this: don't make any Chucky jokes in the comments. It's not a thing to make jokes about. And the guy did the right thing in the end, and that's what happens, right? You got to reach rock bottom sometimes, until you're ready to get some help. Hey there, Ariel and BL. Things are going good. It's Matt actually asked me about that this afternoon, and I hadn't heard anything, and then I went looking for it. It is I don't remember the name of it. He's got some kind of a disease, but it's a growth disease. First of all, the guy's already 6'2". It probably means he's going to grow a little bit more, and it's called, like, basically, I guess it's like growing pains. There is a 10% chance, I think Grant McCagg put this up, that there's a 10% chance that he may have to have an operation to remove some bumps there, but it's a small chance. It's nothing serious, and I don't think it's going to affect his career in any way. So I wouldn't worry about it or make anything more than it needs to be made of that. And it probably just means that he's got a couple more inches to grow, which would put him, around 6'4", which is fine by me. If he gets 6'4", 6'5", I'm good with that. Red, that's what you're here for, man. Ask the question. No worries, buddy. Is Slavkovsky playing in Montreal next year? By the way, hey, Pro Chat, welcome in again. I think it depends. I'm going to go on a limb and say yes, I think so. But I think if he has a lousy training camp, no, they'll send him to Laval. As long as he has a decent to good training camp and has, started learning to keep his head up and stuff like that, and showing that kind of progress, then I think he makes the team. Hey, Lucifero. Red's got a comparison. Type it in there, bud. Hey, David, how you doing, man? I did not hear. Does anybody know? Did Bettman refuse Mayu? I did not hear that. I'd be surprised by that. I'm not shocked, but I'd be a little surprised. And then it just means he goes back to London. With everything that's going on with Hockey Canada and those guys that are actually in the NHL, some of them that are guilty, with what this kid did, that he should be refused is ridiculous. Do I see Reinbacher like a PK Subban? No, I see Reinbacher like a David Reinbacher. I don't think that they're different guys. I don't think he's as flashy in any way like Subban was. Subban was a flashy kind of player, right? Great player. I'm not knocking him for it, but so no, I don't see them as the same type of player. Ariel asks, do I see any player making the team out of camp like Arbor did last year? Yes. As a matter of fact, I do. It's in my predictions, so I guess I'm giving one away. I see. Okay, I'll just set it up by saying because Christian Dvorak is going to miss the beginning of the season. I don't know how long, but not a lot. So we're going to need a third center, right? I think Owen Beck is going to make it and start the season with Montreal at third center, at least until Devo's out. Why do I think Beck? He almost made it last year, and he's got to be really hungry to make the team. And I believe with Owen Beck, if he doesn't make the team, he's got to go back to junior. Is he going to learn that much more in junior that he can't learn up here? I don't know. So I'm going to say Beck off the top of my head, and possibly Joshua Raw. I think has a shot to make it as well. So yeah, I'm going to go with those two guys. Is Philip Machar playing in Laval next year? I believe Machar, yes, will be in Laval next year. It's another thing. Like, what is he going to accomplish back in junior? He's not, and I believe he'll be in Laval. I compare Reinbacher to who? I don't know. Is there a need to compare him to somebody? That's what I say. Like, is there a need to compare the biggest? I've seen him compared to a few guys. Roman Yossi is one of them. They say his floor is just under a Roman Yossi. I guess he plays like that. I don't know. I think he's going to be David Reinbacher, and I don't think we have to compare him to anybody. Brad, you're saying that Carter Hart was one of the members of that team, the Team Canada, and yeah, it's possible. That's why nobody wants to talk. Like maybe, or it's possible Philadelphia is not looking to trade him, and just because he was on that team doesn't mean he was one of those 5 or 6 players. I'm not sure. I think there's that many that did this horrible thing. So I don't know. Not going to melt in time. Geez, what do I got now? We're gonna do. Is anybody? Do you all know what? What's it called now? Puckdoku is. So let me know in the chat if you know what Puckdoku is. I'm sure you all know what a Sudoku is, and probably what is the new thing, that Wordle? That Wordle thing. It's kind of a combination of that with hockey. Alex turned me on to that, and I play it every now and then. I thought it might be a fun thing to do here tonight because there's not a lot of stuff out there to talk about. But if you guys have things, put them in the chat, say hi, ask a question, and yeah. By the way, if there's anybody out there that actually likes my songs, I put out a new song today. It's called OMG. It's a Maple Leafs parody. So I guess the reason I'm saying it is check it out. It's on YouTube. It's the music is Let It Be by the Beatles. I put it out there totally expecting to get a copyright claim. And it didn't get one. I don't know how. So It's the reason why I didn't load it to play it in here, because I didn't want this stream to get copyright claimed. But it still hasn't gotten a claim. But I'm not taking a chance in here because there's still time for it to get claimed, because I can't believe that it won't get claimed. Brad, there's no knee problem for Reinbacher. He has a, I don't know if you want to call it a disease. It makes it sound bad. But it's basically he's got room to grow, and he's got pain in his knees from this. And I remember my kids growing up; they always had, pain in their legs, and it was growing pains. And he's probably got that, and it's nothing serious. Whatever it is, nothing serious from what I can tell. BL, is that why Ron McLean was trending yesterday on? I think they cut more people at Sportsnet. I didn't see what happened. There's rumor Trent Mann to Montreal. Okay, first, who's Trent Mann? I never heard of this kid, so I don't know who it is. Have not heard the rumor. I'm sure you're going to hear lots of rumors, and I just don't think there's not much reason to listen to a lot of the rumors, because I think it's pretty clear Montreal's not going to do a lot in this offseason. Hey, stand man. It was very, and you want to say very bad. I know the singing was. I had trouble singing that song. That's why it took so. I had this like in the works for a few weeks. Couldn't sing the song. But then the news came out today that the Leafs are going to arbitration with their goalie Samsonov, and I thought, yeah, that's the piece I've been waiting for, and I was able to get it done, even with the bad singing, and it was fun to do. He was the coach caught giving up trade secrets, wasn't he? Is that who that is? No. So who is he? Scouting guy for Ottawa. Oh. Why would that be a rumor, though? Like, we're getting a scout? That's big news? What's wrong with Montreal scouts? What have they done wrong in the last, just say since the new management, last two drafts? What have they done wrong that we need to have rumors about new scouts coming in? If you ask me, rumors like that are probably started by people who did not like the draft and did not like the Reinbacher pick, and so they want the scouting staff replaced. So they start rumors like that. I haven't heard anything. So when am I coming? When I get a greatest hit, I don't have the hit. I'm like, I may get them all together and package them up, but you know what? I'm doing them in a different way now. So I kind of want, like, I'm doing them where I'm actually doing it like in a studio where I'm kind of singing, but I used to have to play the music, and while it's playing, do the song, and it all records on the microphone. But now I'm not doing that for the music, just the voice, and I'm able to match it up, and it's like working. But like, I only have 2 songs like that, so I don't know. They're definitely not good enough for greatest hits. Not like a serious thing, right? But for a comedy thing, like, I'll get, one day when I get a manager, when I get somebody that can do those kind of duties for me, like, I need somebody that can kind of be like my manager. And then we get stuff like that done. But I'm not there yet. I mean, look, I still only have, I'm in it 5 years almost, and still only 3,500 subscribers. And I love every subscriber. I'm not complaining, but it's not like, it's not like I'm, look at the hockey junkie who started after me and has got, what, 10,000 more? Although I stepped up my game a bit. I think I'm a little better. And it's showing in that now when I put out a serious video, I'm getting subscribers on every video. That's not the case for a long time. So it shows my videos are better. they'll come along. I'm not sweating it out, that's for sure. Well, Red, explain to me what makes this guy better than Martin Lapointe. Like I said, what's been wrong with the Habs drafting? Just go back 3-4 years, and their drafting has been good. There's nothing to complain, and there's no need to be rumoring that scouts are coming here like it's a big thing. I don't get it. Bob Gannon in the house. Hey, Bob, how's it going, man? So yeah, I don't understand that about the scouts. What else I got? Well, we'll get to the Puckdoku in a bit. I'll remind everybody I'm doing a prediction video for the next season. So basically, off season, during the season for the Habs players, whatever kind of predictions. If you have anybody out there has any, want to get that into my video, send me at my email, talkinghabs@gmx.com. Send me your predictions and I will get them into the video. So anybody wants to do that, we do that. Man drafted Kachuk, Pinto, Batherson, and we drafted Caulfield, Hudson, Mashar, Reinbacher, Fowler. I mean, I can name off names, and there's more names. It's just that these guys have played in the NHL yet. That's all. It's not the grass isn't greener on the other side of the fence all the time. It's usually rarely greener on the other side of the fence. And if we're always looking on the other side of the fence and switching, we're never getting anywhere. So I don't see what's wrong with our drafting. And the not taking Kachuk and taking KK, that's on Bergevin. So anyway, I don't have a problem with our scouting department. That's me. Another point about everybody wants, we get these guys. Well, let's trade them and get more picks and more assets and stuff. They can only have 50 contracts. 5, that's 10 times this. 50 contracts that they can sign and have. They can, when you have the more draft picks you have, well, you can't even sign half these guys. So I don't know why everybody wants to move guys to get more prospect picks, more picks. We're going to just see all these guys we picked on other teams, and we'll still be shit. All right. So like I said, send me a comment and I can talk. I have nothing prepped because there's nothing to prep really right now. I drank everything. I put this in. I didn't finish it the last time I put it in my freezer. It's a freezer kind of cup. So there's ice in there. And I wasn't thinking I should have taken it out a lot earlier because it's already frozen all around it. That's not going to melt that quick, and it didn't. Oops, that didn't go well. That's what you call bad preparation. All right, nobody wants to talk to me. At least give a thumbs up. You're enjoying the, thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate that. And let's go from there. Where are we going to go? Where are we going? One thing of drafting a lot of players is that the Habs can use it as trade bait. Well, that's something. I mean, you can do that. But again, if you're just trading away everything and just to get money, you're never going anywhere. So the drafting has been good. The development is starting and it's looking good. And, develop these guys. And just keep drafting good. That's all you can do. Then eventually, if you're good and you're always drafting high draft picks, it's a cycle. It's a cycle. Let's see how long this management group can keep this team as a contender once they get there. And that's what I'm looking for. Long time in the playoffs and, playing meaningful games. Bob, see, that's something I've never heard that KK was deemed the better player. It was a reach. They reached, KK was ranked much higher or lower. I don't know how you put that. Anyways, he was, I think, ranked around 18 or something like that. They reached because of a need. It was stupid to reach. It was stupid to reach. It was a mistake. They should have taken Kachuk, and it's proven out. The draft is never a guarantee of players succeed. I think that's something that I don't think some people understand that no matter any of these guys that I talk about or whatever, till they get here, we don't know anything. So when you say, "Oh, this guy's better than that one," and you don't know that until they get to the NHL and play, and you got to look about 5 years after they're drafted to look back to see. But you can't tell really till then. So and that goes to with Michkov as well. To say Michkov is going to be better than Reinbacher, we don't know this. We don't know. If Reinbacher hits his ceiling, they're different, obviously, forward defensemen. But to say he's better, I don't know that that's true. They're both going to be really good, maybe. I don't really think Michkov's going to be – I don't think he's going to be elite. Or I'll say that in Montreal, where they're going with a system of a 5-man unit out there, we've heard the players say that in interviews, right? 5-man unit, you use everybody on the ice and all that. Selfish players, if this is the case with Michkov, aren't going to go do well in our system. So, and then people saying, here's another thing, I read this today, was a great observation. Saying that Reinbacher, we drafted for need, and you can't do that, and you can't do that. And then saying they should have taken Michkov because we need that elite player. We need that guy here. We need. Well, then Michkov was a need. So why is he okay to draft and Reinbacher not? So I saw somebody put that up and go, man, that is a really good point. You draft best player available. Not every team's scouting staff is going to agree on who is the best player available at the time. With Reinbacher, I'm sure the Habs felt that he qualified talent-wise and checked all of the boxes that they had and they wanted the players to check. And I don't think Michkov did that. Therefore, with the Habs philosophy, the best player available is the most talented that checks all the boxes. And then when they had two guys like that, because apparently that's how they saw Leonard and Reinbacher, and then who does fill that need more that we have? And they felt it was Reinbacher. How did I get off on that stuff? I don't even know how I got on that tangent. Reinbacher won't be the next Shea Weber, Lucifero. Why am I saying that? Because Shea Weber was not as mobile as Reinbacher will be. So Reinbacher will be Reinbacher. And I don't know why that's a problem for anybody. BL, and then he went out and drafted, not drafted and traded and got Suzuki, who is our number one center. So, and then we got Kirby Doc, who could be a number one center. So those elite centers or those kind of centers, you can trade for them sometimes. That's an interesting video, Bob. I agree. I don't know if I'm the guy to do it because when I try to do, I don't know. That's a good idea, though. I got to admit, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I don't know. So Bob's saying, could you look back over at the last 25 to 30 years and examine the first overall draft picks in those years and go over their NHL careers or lack thereof? You know what that sounds like? It sounds like, sorry, I've got an itch here. It sounds like a video series for the hockey guy. Going back and taking, a video for each of those draft picks and that sounds like a video for the hockey guy. I'm going to contemplate that. It's a good idea. I like the idea. I don't know if I could do that, but yeah. Hey, Matt Outdoor, how's it going, man? Stan says Reinbacher is a right-hand defenseman, and they are hard to get. Give him time, and he may even be better than Weber. Patience, please. He'll be pretty good. I think he's going to be pretty good. You're right, though, that the right shot defenseman is not the easiest find. And if he's going to be, I think a number 2 defenseman, you're not getting those guys unless you draft them. So was he the right pick or not? I don't know, but I do believe you don't get a David Reinbacher unless you draft him. Unless a miracle happens and you get some idiot GM and you manage to fleece him of that kind of guy. Hey, Matt's in the house. Matt's in the house. He says traded for Newhook too. I think he will be a solid top 6 winger. Yes, I do believe Newhook will be that. I think Newhook. I'm going to say this. I think Newhook will deliver the same type of offense that we were thinking Pierre-Luc Dubois would deliver. Are they the same player? No, I'm not saying they are. I'm saying offense, production wise. I think Newhook delivers that kind of production to us. Maybe not next season, but he's 22 only. But by the time he's 25, I think there's a guy giving you 60, 70 points a year. Bobby, it's a good point what you make there. And that's why, when you say, I think it was Grant McCagg today wrote this, and I kind of agree with this too. When you say you don't draft for need, when you're a team that is drafting 5th overall, that's because you're not a great team. Guess what? You got needs everywhere. Almost every player you draft fills a need. And pretty much in the top, every player that's drafted fills a need for a team that's drafting them in the top 10. So, best player available. That's why I think the strategy of best player available, most talented that checks all the boxes. That's the player that's the best player available to you for your needs. I guess that's what it is. Matt Norton. Yeah, I just mentioned. Who did I mention Lane Hudson to? I think earlier when it just started, I did mention that, we've got, because he was, I think it was Red was saying about this scout that's rumored to be coming to Montreal for the Senators, I guess, and he drafted this guy and that guy and this guy. Yeah, but I listed them, and Hudson definitely is in there. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the drafts we've had over the last 3-4 years here in Montreal. We could draft Lane Hudson's brother, who will be top 5 or top 10 in next year's draft. And Lane Hudson, from his own mouth, said that his brother's going to be better than him. So we'll see. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. He says Hockey Futures rated Lane Hudson as the Habs' number 1 prospect ahead of Slav, Beck, and Mailloux. Speaking of Mailloux, somebody at the very beginning of the show said Bedman rejected Mailloux's bid to join the AHL. Is that true? Does anybody out there know that? I saw nothing about that, and got to think that if that had happened, it'd be all over Twitter. Hey there, Joe. How's it going down under there, Joe? Renegade Matt, I'm getting tired of the Michkov debate too, but it'll never go away. The Habs have Caulfield, and he's no different than Michkov, both the same type of player. I'm going to say, I'll say this because I don't know this about Michkov, if it's true or not, but they said there's rumors that Michkov is kind of selfish and stuff like that, the stuff that's being said about him. I don't think Caulfield's any of that. So they're not exactly the same player. If that's the case with Michkov, I don't know it's true. Matt says Bettman and Mayu have not met yet. So whoever put in that rumor that Mayu got rejected, yeah, go and check your source. And my instincts were right because I would think I'd have seen something about that. Women's World Cup starts. That's awesome. Is that World Cup? That's hockey, right? Because we're hockey here. Is that true? I didn't know that. Very interesting. Yeah, the women's game's getting a lot better. Matt, I'm sure you would have texted me. So yeah, just that you weren't here and somebody had said that and I hadn't heard anything. So. Oh, World Cup. So you're talking about soccer or football. Sorry, football for you guys. Yeah, I don't follow that stuff. I don't follow the footy. That's what you call it there, no? Footy? That's well, for women, I hope the women aren't as bad as the men at. If you look at them the wrong way, they fall over like they've been hit with a bat. All right. Let's do this Puckdoku. Does anybody out there know what Puckdoku is? I know Matt knows what it is. Anybody else? BL says footy is Australian rules football, which is basically rugby, isn't it? Bedman said Montreal hasn't requested a meeting. They said it was set up like a month ago. I heard it was set up. Renegade Man Leafs did sign Caulfield's brother, and no, Brock is not as good as Cole. They got like you order something from Amazon and you get what you order. You order something from Wish and you get, I don't know, you get a funky version of it. And that's what they at least got. They got the Wish version of Caulfield. Bob says he likes Reinbacher over Michkov for the pick for several reasons. One reason is that if Michkov turns out to be a superstar, the Habs will be in a similar situation as the Leafs for cap space. Oh, I see what you're saying. They'll have to pay him a lot. I don't know. I kind of thought, I'm not so sure that it's going to be trouble to get him here in 3 years anymore. I mean, there's guys going over there. A next Hab just went over a goalie. I can't remember his name. Just went over and signed with KHL. So kind of maybe that's not a big problem. But I think there's a lot of question marks on Michkov. And I got to think that the Habs did their research and their due diligence, and he didn't check the boxes. And that's enough, right? There's a reason why they didn't want to take him. And listen, we picked fifth overall. That means 3 other teams, because Chicago wasn't taking Michkov, 3 other teams passed over as well. So if it's going to be this guaranteed elite, great, best player ever, and 3 other teams passed over him. And then actually 4, because so did Arizona. No, well, I know what Australian rules football is, basically. I've seen it a few times. Yeah, Renegade Man, that's a good comparison. Ryan Suzuki and Nick Suzuki. I would rather have Nick Suzuki here. Yes. Now you look at Florian Jackeye and having Arbor Jackeye, and you go, okay, why did they draft Florian? I know Florian's probably he's a bottom six guy. I think a big part of why they drafted Florian was for Arbor motivation, also telling Arbor, we want you. Your job is pretty safe here. Like, you know what I mean? And I think maybe that motivation might actually push Arbor enough so that after training camp, we're going to say, yeah, you know what? He legitimately deserves a bottom four spot on the defense without saying, well, he's only in there because of this or that. You know, that's what I'm thinking. So, and plus, Florian could be a really good bottom six guy, right? So who knows? Oh, Matt. Okay, if that's what you're talking about, yes, we have that guy, and Caulfield's numbers are going to increase. Suzuki's numbers, Doc's numbers, Newhook's numbers, and when David Reinbacher hits, and over those couple of years after, they're going to be even better because that's the kind we need, that release from the back end for these guys. We don't have it here in abundance. Guys like Reinbacher. So, Matt, yeah, I think it's a given that Florian is a tough guy, but he's a he's a bottom, probably a fourth line kind of player. But I think it's great motivation for Arbor. It really shows their confidence in Arbor as well, and probably in whatever the Jack guys have cooking. How's that saying go? But it has a lot to do with their character, I'm sure they feel that Florian's a lot like Arbor that way, character wise, and that's nothing wrong with having those kind of guys in your lineup. Yeah, Florian didn't sign yet, but they drafted him. But I think it kind of just shows Arbor that I mean, I think so. I think it's part of it. I don't think you draft the kid if you don't feel that he's got a shot to make the team one day for whatever the role you think of him for. I think. I could be wrong on that, but Matt says, and if anyone even farts in Caulfield or Suzuki's direction, we can send the Bash brothers out. Well, listen, Florian definitely a few years away. You got to think he's not making the team next year. And then again, look, who would have thought Arbor out of nowhere and then comes in, impresses, and the next year makes the team. So who knows? Renegade Man, yeah, Tuck. I think he's running out of time. Right? I think if he doesn't make it at this camp, I don't know. So maybe you send him somewhere else to give him a shot at a team that he could fit in with, maybe. Yeah, good point about the younger brother. They're not always good, but sometimes they are. Now you have Monty Python on your mind for what? Oh, the farts part. Yeah, okay. Well, Matt, when you say at some point, yeah, I'm just saying not next year, probably not the year after that. But I mean, who knows, right? Like I said, who knows? Look what Arbor did. If he can do anything like that, he could be here sooner than we think. I don't know a ton about him, or I haven't seen him play, so I really couldn't tell you that way. So what was the what's the word I'm looking for? The decision on the Puckdoku. Nobody answered me. I'm going to show it to you, and we shall see. Got a fancy new setup. Hang on a second. Okay, wait. Where did it? Oh, I see what I did wrong. It's not super huge, but okay. So you get 9 attempts to fill these squares. How do you fill the squares? So here, got the New York Islanders logo. So in this square, any New York Islanders player that also played for Anaheim, obviously vice versa, at least one game in their history. Same thing there, New York Islanders, Minnesota. And then here they're asking for 5, played for 5 different teams, right? So a guy on the Islanders that had played, so that's what you're looking for. Anybody want to do this? Matt, it might just be. I don't know if anyone's heard of Puckdoku. You might be right. What's the record for the amount of brothers on one team? 2, as far as I know. I don't think there's ever been 3 brothers playing on one team. George Larac wants to teach Jack I how to fight. Ryan Reeves can't wait to play against the Habs. Jack, I better be ready. Who says Jack I doesn't know how to fight? I'm sorry. I mean, I have nothing against George Larac, but sometimes he's really accurate in what he says, and sometimes, I don't know, he's like in another world. So, yeah, I don't know that I want to. I don't know. You know who I would ask that of, opinion wise, Chris Nyland, and I take that with a lot more I take that a lot more seriously than George Larac, because man, Larac has said some really dumb things over the last couple of years. Ryan Reeves can't wait to play against the Habs, but Ryan Reeves plays like what? 2, 3, maybe 4 minutes in a period if he's lucky. And do you think when the Habs are playing the Leafs, unless they're blowing us out, you think they want to lose because Ryan Reeves is sitting in the penalty box? I don't think so. Joe, that's a good question. I think the answer to that, how many sets of brothers is what she's saying. I've been most on one team. I think 2 sets. I think 2 sets. There was a team, and this goes back a while, I think, where they had 2 sets of brothers on the team. I don't know why I remember something like this, but I remember, I don't know the names of the brothers, but I can almost see this story in front of me, like where I read it online. I could be wrong, obviously. But I think that's it. I think in the history of the Habs, the Canadians of the NHL, I think that's only once it happened. Hey, old man, filibuster, how you doing, buddy? I got that new song out there. If you didn't get the notification, you might want to check out, buddy. So is it a no on the Puckdoku? Okay, so let's do this. First of all, I'm going to put that on a different screen so that we'll try to figure it out and see how it goes. We'll play it and see how it goes. Okay, wait, I got to do this to get it where I can see it better. Come on. All right. So I've got it up there. Anybody got any idea a player from the Islanders that played for any of those things? If you got any idea for any of them guesses, let me know, and we'll try to figure it out. Are we into this or what? The original old man is Patrick. He sends his regards. Who's Patrick? But send regards back. Hey, Patrick. How old? If he's the original old man, how old is he? Islanders, Ducks, Kyle Palmieri. Is that where they got him from? The Ducks? No, Palmieri. Is he with the Islanders now? Oh, yeah, he is. Anybody back that up? Because I've got 9 guesses to fill 9 spots. I want to make 100% sure before we put a name in there. I do believe Palmieri. I didn't know he played for the Ducks, so there you go. I don't know. I thought I know New Jersey and the Islanders. That's it. That's why I'm asking for confirmation. Does anybody want to let's try to confirm these things without having to look them up online, because that's kind of cheating. So don't look them up. Let's see if anybody remembers or can get. You know what I mean? Let's not cheat. We're also looking for New York Islander that played for 5 different teams in his career, at least 5 or more. Same thing for Predator and for a St. Louis Blue. Because I can't, honestly, off the top of my head, I cannot think of anybody to match that. Although, I think for the Blues, there was a journeyman that played for them. And I want to say Gary Unger, but I don't know if I'm right on that. I know Gary Unger was an Ironman. And I want to say he did that he played for a lot of different teams, but I could be wrong. Anybody of the old guys out there can confirm that for me? For the Islanders, I can't think of anybody that played for 5 teams. It's a lot of teams. I played this now like 3 times because it just started. It's only like I think it's like 2.5 weeks old. This game. Yeah, it could take me like an hour just to get like a few of them. Looking through all the names. Oh, this is what happens. So like if you can't figure it out, so you click on that. Say you put in, we'll just go A, and it'll give you all the names. You can go through them and see if if something stands out to you. So you can do that. But I figured there's so many people. Well, there's not so many. There's 25 people. I apologize for the signal. It's a wonky night. I don't know what's going on. Hasn't happened in a while. There's so many people in the room that we should be able to get this. But nobody wants to talk to me. No. I want to put Gary Unger there, but I don't know. It's like, hello, is this thing working? Am I still on the air? I don't know. Okay, somebody say hi to me. Somebody just say hi so I know that you hear me. I don't know why I'm leaning into this microphone. I don't have to. Idiot. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it. At least I know that you hear me. How come nobody wanted to give any guesses, but I get the highs? I'm getting high, 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 high. Old man wants to know what's up with the handsome goalie. What? Jose Theodore? Theodore played for what? I don't get you, Phil. Only goalie I know, Jose, is Jose Theodore. Bob stumped like I am. What about Bob? Did anybody check? No, you're not supposed to check. But does anybody know Gary Unger? Who Gary Unger is? I mean, nobody knows who Gary Unger is. You're all too young. Boom. Boom what? Yeah, this with these teams that are listed there, I can't think of anybody offhand. And I don't want to go through the list. It's going to be boring to watch me do that. It's no worries. If nobody wants to play, we'll just not play. I'll take my game and go home. If you're here, by the way, give a thumbs up if you're at least enjoying this. Did Chara play for 5 teams? No. Chara played, as far as I know, Islanders, Bruins, back to the Islanders, and then back to the Bruins. Am I wrong? What, Chara played for Ottawa? I don't remember. First I ever saw Chara was on the Islanders. So I know Islanders, Boston. Did he play for Pittsburgh? Gary Younger played for the Wings and Blues. I remember that, the Wings. But there was a journeyman on that team. I can't remember. I thought it was Unger that played, but he probably played for the Blues for a long time and then went to the Wings, and that's what I remember too. But I don't think Chara qualifies there for that because I don't think he played for 5 teams. Remember, you can go back far for that. It could be any player in the Islanders' history. Chara played for the Capitals? Did he? I don't even remember. David Perron played for a few teams, but I don't know if there were 5, though. Yeah, BL, I don't think Chara played in Pittsburgh, so it would be New York Islanders, Boston, and Washington. Now, I don't know if it counts when a player goes back to a team for the second time. That's something I don't know if that counts there. What's Jacob Fowler's ceiling? Starting goalie in the NHL. If you want me to compare a player, I mean, I don't know. And quite honestly, I don't think I've read anything where someone actually says their ceiling is this. You know what I mean? No worries, David. People have confirmed that both people are talking to me again. Yeah, I don't know. Are we going to get any of these? I don't know. The thing is, you can go back far for these, except for expansion teams. You can't go that far. You like more millet? What's millet? Millet, isn't that something you eat? Right? Isn't that something you eat? Miller. Did what was his first name? I know he played for, I think, Anaheim. But did he play for any of the teams on that side? What was his first name? No, Quentin Miller. What are you talking about? He doesn't play in the NHL, dude. Talking about there's the guy, he played for Buffalo. I don't know. He went around. He played for a few teams. Quentin Miller just got drafted this draft. So what are you even talking about? All right, I think Puckdoku didn't go over well. Yeah, David, I don't know where he came from, but Gary Younger was he was a good defenseman, and when I was a kid growing up, he was the Iron Man. I think he played 800 or 900 games straight. One of those good names, a blonde kid too, so his blonde hair, no helmet in those days. Yep, I remember Gary Younger. Oh, you're comparing him with Fowler. But when you compare a draft pick to somebody, you don't compare him to another draft pick. You kind of comparing him to a player in the league already. Red, with goalies, maybe Miller's the guy that does make, who knows, right? It's hard to tell with goalies. Unger was a center, not a defenseman. You're probably right. Unger was forward. I don't think we're going to be very successful in this. Good thing there's no time limit on it. Anyways, it's a game. Like, it's puckdoku.com, I guess. If you guys are interested, and now you've seen it. Just go on puckdoku.com and you get a new game there, one every day. It's kind of like Wordle that way. I didn't pick these, Bob. It's a game. They put it out. That's it. What can I do? It's just I picked a bad time to figure. Let's try this for the stream. That's a bad night for that. Hey, Mike Sillinger is a good name, but what teams did he play for? Any of those three teams? Sillinger, I don't. Didn't Sillinger play for the Preds? Probably and St. Louis. Red is obsessed with Quentin Miller. Basically, nobody here knows much about this kid, Red. So let him percolate a little bit in our system. I wonder if Mike Sillinger. I'm going to try here. Let's see if I'm going to waste one. There you go, Mike Sillinger. Is it right? It is right. Mike Sillinger. More than 5 teams, and he played for St. Louis. We got one. Good name. Bringing out that name there, BL. It's only got 2%, so there's a lot of other ones. I bet it's the lowest percentage one. So there's somebody. The other day I did one, and it was 100-point players, and one of the teams was LA. I was struggling on getting Luc Robitaille. I got it, and then when I was done, and you can see, I guess they show you the most popular for all. I saw Wayne Gretzky there. Went, idiot Wayne Gretzky. Of course, Wayne Gretzky. Although, honestly, I wasn't 100% sure he got 100 points with LA. That was why I didn't put him, but I should have. All right. Anybody want to make any other guesses, or can give me somebody for Nashville and the Islanders that played for multiple teams? I can't think of anybody for the Islanders. I should know that one. No, I can't think of anybody. Anyway, if anybody has any guesses, let me know in the chat. Otherwise, just let's continue to have a conversation about whatever you guys want to talk about. So ask away any questions, take part, and I will give you whatever answers I can. I apologize once again for my low signal. I can see it there. I don't know what's up with that, but that's on my ISP, not on me. Parise, JP Parise. The kid or his father? Zach Parise. Zach Parise played for, let's go over that. Parise, I know, in Minnesota. I forget where he was going to Minnesota. He was in on the island. That's 3. Anybody got 2 more locations for Zach Parise? Jersey, that's right. That's 4. We need 1 more. If he has 1 more, he probably doesn't. I think that's it for Parise. 4 spots. They say he might go back to Minnesota. So I don't know if Parise qualifies. My problem is when I try to think of it, I totally blank out. I can't think of anybody. That's why I use that alphabetically. I go through, see if anything jogs my memory. So it could take a while. It could take a while. Nobody else would have guessed for any of these. Let's try to figure out a player that played for the Islanders and the Ducks. I can't think of anybody that was on the island and Anaheim. Anybody? Or the Islanders and Minnesota? Oh, Zach Parise. Yeah. Zach that way? There we go. Zach Parise. All right. Palmieri played. Why did he play in Minnesota too? Well, we got two and only used two guesses. At the rate we're going, we could be here a long time. Okay, how about St. Louis and either Anaheim or Minnesota? Anybody? Oh, it's too bad. Well, he hasn't played for Nashville yet. I don't know why you have Ryan O'Reilly in my head. But they're not lined up, St. Louis and Nashville. Derek Brassard has played with a ton of teams, but give me one. Well, has he played for Nashville? I think he has. Or the Islanders? But you're right. Brassard's played in a lot of different places. It's funny, Alex Galchenyuk not one of those teams. Brett Hull, St. Louis, Detroit, Phoenix, Dallas, and Calgary. We got the St. Louis one, though. Yeah, so and he didn't play for the other teams. So while Brett Hull might be there on the list, and he probably is, but we already got a guy there. Paul, what do you mean Moncton? Moncton doesn't count here for a team. Palmieri played in Anaheim, Bill? Well, then Kyle Palmieri, we're going to use him here. Oops, not Kyler. There you go. Yes, sir. We got 3. Chris Pronger, Ducks and Blues. That's awesome. You're right. And you are right. Pronger, Edmonton, and Philadelphia as well. Did he play on a 5th team? Because we could use Pronger for that. I'm going to put Pronger for Ducks and Blues. Pronger. Yes, sir. We're 4 for 4. Hey, Larry the Cable Guy. We're playing Puck. What's it called again? Puckdoku. It's a new game, so I'm not surprised if a lot of people haven't heard of it. I was made aware of that by Matt's friend Alex. Pronger was also a Flyer? Wait a second, though. But what did he play for either Islanders or Nashville? I don't think so. So we already used the Blues one. Anyways, we got Pronger up there, so can't use a guy twice. So now let's finish that line there. We got 2 we can finish. We need a player for the Islanders that played on 5 or more teams. And we need a St. Louis, Minnesota player. St. Louis and Minnesota. I can't think of that. And we got nothing as far as Nashville goes. Nashville and Anaheim, Nashville and Minnesota, or a Nashville player that played on 5 different teams. Niederreiter played for Nashville, New York Islanders, and Minnesota. That's 3. So Nashville and Minnesota, he'd qualify in there. Nino Niederreiter. There we go. All right, we're 5 for 5. Got 4 to go. Maybe I used them in the wrong place. I'm sorry if I did, but I used them there. It's too late. Anybody else think of any of these guys that played for a lot of teams? I guess you got to think of who played for a lot of teams. And Max Domi didn't play for any of those, eh? No. I can't think of anybody who's played for. I just blanking of players that have played for multiple teams. Or I should say a lot of more than multiple, a lot of teams. Anybody else? Going, gone. St. Louis and Minnesota. Matt Schneider. Did he play for 5 teams? One of them up there? I think Schneider played on the Islanders, right? Kessel. Kessel did not play for either Nashville or the Islanders. So, and Kessel, I think it's 4 teams for Kessel. Bill, what teams for Matt Schneider? Montreal. Where did we trade him to? Yeah, I can't think of all the teams he played on. I think Detroit. All right, I can't get that one. Did Hillman play for Nashville or the Islanders, Larry? Because that would work. It doesn't matter the era. It could be any era as long as they qualify for that. Brent Ashton. I remember Brent Ashton. Did he play for any of these teams and on all, like, for 5? Did Kessel play with the Rangers? Did he? Anyways, it's still not a team that's up there. Ashton, I remember. Why do I want to say the Winnipeg Jets for Brent Ashton? I remember that. I don't remember any other teams he played on. I'm sure there's lots of players that'll qualify. Just got to remember them. Cliff Ronning, 5+ teams, and Nashville. Cliff Ronning. I kind of remember he played there when Nashville first came into the league. We're going to try Cliff Ronning. Yes, sir. Way to go, Quinn. Way to go. BL, who's that with all those you're listed there? Who is that? Because we might have found our New York Islander one. Matthew Schneider, is that Matthew Schneider? Montreal, Toronto, Islanders, Vancouver, Detroit, Anaheim. Well, let's try Matt Schneider. Oh, I'm not spelling it right. I'll put the A there. Matt Schneider. Okay, here we go. That's it, Matt Schneider. All right, we only got 2 left. Oh, Jacques Plante. Good one, Bob. That's a good one. Anyways, we got him. We filled that spot. So we need St. Louis and Washington, St. Louis and Minnesota player, and a Nashville and Anaheim player. Anybody got any ideas on those? Renegade Man, I was right about Dubois not going to the Habs. Am I as good as Larac then? Listen, I get him right sometimes, and so does Larac. Oh, I want to finish this Puckdoku. The last one I did, I got 2 away, but I ran out of. I made 2 mistakes, so that was the best I could do. Come on, guys. St. Louis and Minnesota. St. Louis and Minnesota player. Yeah, I need help. I need help. Like the only way for me to get this on my own now, I'd have to kind of type in list of players who played in St. Louis and Minnesota. I'm definitely going to get them. There's probably a lot of players. But everybody I think of in my head, just no. And honestly, to list off a bunch of Minnesota players, I don't. Do I follow Minnesota? BL, JJ Daniel, who? Did he play in Nashville, Daniel? Or St. Louis? Didn't Daniel play in St. Louis? He played in Minnesota as well? Glenn Hall did not play. He played for St. Louis. He did not play for Minnesota. They have to have played at least one game for each of those teams. Nick Bonino, Ducks, Nashville. Nick Bonino. I think you are right on that. That makes sense to me. Nick Bonino. Come on. Where's my cursor? There it is. Hey, all right. We're 1 away. Awesome there, Quinn. We need one more. BL, JJ Daniel, is he St. Louis and Minnesota player? Because we might have it. Peter, Claude LaRose did not play for Minnesota. I agree. I believe he played for St. Louis at some point, but he did not play for Minnesota. Remember, Minnesota, when did they come into the league? You know? In the 90s, end of the 90s, early 2000s, when did they come into the league? Ryan Suter, very good. I think you might be right, Gislan. Ryan Suter. I know Ryan Suter played for Minnesota without a doubt. Wasn't he partners with Weber when Weber was? No. Why am I thinking Weber? That's Nashville. Wasn't Suter Nashville? Paul Duffy, what's 67? Glenn Hall? But Glenn Hall did not play for Minnesota. Player has to have played for both of these teams. It's okay, Giselle. Don't worry. Yeah, Peter LaRose is too old. Depending on the team, right? Like if it was St. Louis and Boston or whatever, an original 6, then it could be him. But Minnesota came into the league. What? It's got to be 20 years or more. So it can't be a player that stopped playing before that. Jordan Leopold, St. Louis and Minnesota. Oh, let's try that. That sounds accurate. I remember that kid. I don't know much about him, but I remember the name. We're going to give it a shot with our last guess. Jordan Leopold. Is he up there? Yes, he is. He fits the timeline. And we got them all. We're a winner. Let's see. View stats. So these are the top ranked guys for each of those spots. We got Parise. And I think that was it as far as I think. Did we have Pronger and Parise? Right? That was it. Oh, we did well. What's our score total? Huh? But what's the score? Like, we didn't get 134. We got more than that. Yeah, I didn't do anything. Anyway. All right. Well, there you go. That's our first game of Puckdoku. I'm going to stop sharing this now. Close that. And come back here. And go back there. And there we go. Hey, thanks everybody for doing that with me. That was fun. I enjoy doing stuff like that. I like crossword puzzles and shit. I like Sudoku. It's different, obviously, but it's challenging. It's a little bit hard because depending on the team, right? Depending on the team they give you. All right. Well, we got about maybe as much as 14 minutes to go. We're almost at the hour and a half. So we're back to anybody got any questions? Anybody want to talk about something? Hey, Larry, welcome. I'm welcoming. Thanks for being here, buddy, as always, eh? See you next time, buddy. Larry the Cable Guy. Get her done. Sam Gagne probably qualified up there, but we got it all done. Larry put up Gump Worsley, Rangers, Montreal, Minnesota, but that doesn't qualify. I missed that one before. All right, we're dying off. Don't forget, if you're on your way out, please give a thumbs up if you had a good time. Joe, I never really tried Wordle, so yeah, I like crosswords where you got clues and you know I don't. Wordle looks like just a lot of frustration. Bob, no, somebody wanted to really discuss Quentin Miller. Not really Fowler. That was red. But if you want to discuss Fowler, go away. Go ahead. I mean, go away, Bob. Go ahead. Ask me something. I can tell you what I learned from doing the video. Just ask away that question. Don't have to ask. Just ask the question. Outside of Suzuki and Caulfield, do we have someone who is a proven first-line player in the NHL? I don't think so. The closest I would say to that is Monahan. I think that's the closest guy we've got to a legitimate, and I don't even know if he's a legitimate first line winger, but I mean he's got all the experience. He's definitely second line guy, but no, I think and that's one of those positions where they need to fill that spot. I mean, hopefully through a guy like potentially Joshua Roy or Slavkovsky maybe eventually. So, but do we have one here now? No, I don't think so. But for me, I mean, on first line, it's Monahan. What say you guys? Who do you think will play on the first line with Suzuki and Caulfield? And at the same time, Do you feel that there's someone here who will be that guy? I think it's Slavkovsky more than likely to develop into that guy, but right now, guy that you can put there, Monahan, I think for sure. And like I said, I think that's who will play there. But I did put that in the video, so. Oh, I do have something, I guess, news that I forgot. They announced last season, I don't know if it was the first season, but the Habs rookies, the prospects, they played in a prospect tournament in Buffalo. They're doing that again this year. It is just ahead of training camp, the main camp. So September 15, 16, and 18, there's these games. If they're televised at all where I can get them and watch them, I'll probably do them. So that's something to look forward to. It's the rookie camp that opens on the 13th of September, and then they start playing these games. So, and then I think right after that, within a few days, the Habs main camp opens up. Yeah, it's just that. I mean, if you look at the roster, like you know, some people might put a Hoffman there, and Hoffman maybe in his heyday you could put there, but I don't think at 33. You know, Anderson can do the job, Joe. I agree, but not for 82 games is what I'm saying. So Anderson on short spurts there with them can do well, but I don't think he's been consistent enough. He's gotten opportunities, and there are times when that line was great with Anderson, but it fell off pretty quickly. So we need to get a guy in there that's more consistent with them. But in case of injury or whatever, you got a guy in Anderson that can step up and play there. You could say Armia, and I know that's a laugh, but if you can figure out which games Armia's going to be good in, then you play him up there. You know what I mean? Because when he's playing as that great Armia, he can play really well with these guys, but how do you know when that's going to be? So we got 5 games in the season, he can play on the first line. How many players last year got 25 plus goals in the NHL? A, 40, B, 60, C, 80. There are 770 or something players, maybe 800 players now in the league at any one time. 25. So that's 25 goals or more. I'm going to go in the middle and say B. Bob says A, 40. I say B, 60. Anybody else want to make a guess on that before Ghislain tells us? If anybody wants to make a guess, Ghislain will hold off for a couple of minutes before telling us, and you can put a guess in, and we'll see how many of us got it right. I really want to say, between 60 and 80, so it's not going to shock me if it's 80, but I'm going to go in the middle of that and say 60. But, it's probably 80 because out of 770 players, probably 80 of them got, over 25 goals. Lucifero, believe it or not, I'm not really yet, but I will be later. Cue up the Jep. I wish I had that, Bob. Good idea. 80. So my second inkling was right. 40 is too low because you can almost name 40 guys off the top of your head, right? So it seemed like it was probably 80, but maybe not. That's why I said 60. But I'm glad I did put in there that I'm leaning, I kind of want to say 80, but so, I'm not lying. If you ain't, no, what's the saying? If you ain't lying, you ain't trying. Hey, Lucas, late again. No worries. Hey, listen, life takes precedence, man. Over YouTube, life takes except for me. Listen, I gotta produce this shit, but for you guys, man, be out there doing things. Lucifero, I don't know. I just looked at myself on the screen. I might be where you are. I don't know. Better late than never. That's what I always say that. Anyways, we've got another 5 minutes. And anybody else got a question or a trivia thing? Hey, if anybody's got any trivia, put it in here. We'll see if we can answer. Other than that, I got nothing left, man. Oh, I sorry about that, Lucas. Yeah, listen, winning and losing is part of the game as long as you tried. But yeah, I know what that's like. Anytime I played any organized any kind of sport, wasn't on the best team. Oh, one of my cats is having a meow fit over there. Who in here has been a Habs fan? Everyone. What kind do I prefer? The green kind, usually. Yeah, the good kind, green kind, cheap. Cheap and good. Cheap and good always works for me. That's why I got a spot. I ordered online and I go for the cheap stuff, but it is good and the price is amazing. So I'm happy with that. I'm not I am a connoisseur in that I know my way around it, but I've never been one that says I gotta have the best only. That's not me. Do I agree or disagree? Nick Suzuki is a poor number one center or a great number two center. What are your arguments? No, I don't. I don't agree. I think he'd be a great number two center without a doubt. I don't think he's a poor number one center. Why do I say that? Very simply, Nick Suzuki is 23 years old. If you want to say, is he a great number one center? Wait a couple more years before you say yes or no. He's only 23. When he's in his prime and his game is where it should be, then make that judgment. Is he right now a great number one center? Not yet, but he's got potential. So I guess if I'm really answering that for your options, I'd say a poor number one center, but I don't think that's fair. Oh, you mean years, Paul? I've been, I guess I'm in my 52nd year, maybe 53rd year as a Habs fan. I think I was 7 when I started being a Habs fan, so 53 years. Who scored to secure Montreal's playoff spot in 2011 against the Blackhawks? Saku Koivu. I don't know. It wouldn't have been Koivu. He was gone by then. I don't know the answer to that. CBD is the best. You don't get high on CBD, by the way. Just so you know. CBD, that's not... CBD is for pain and stuff like that. Maybe calm you a bit, but it's not... You're not getting high on that. I prefer indica or sativa? This is sativa mostly. Depending on what I'm doing, time of day sometimes. But in general, I'm an indica guy, but no, I like both. This is Durban. I'm Durban Poison is what I've got tonight. It's a I don't know, that's not a pure sativa, but it's a mostly sativa. It confuses you that we can openly talk about what, Joe? It's legal here. It's totally legal here in Canada. You can buy it and you can use it and you can talk about it. Paul, you're 69 this year? Awesome, dude. I turned 60 this year. Yeah, CBD for pain. Personally, it doesn't really work for me, but I still because I that's me. But yeah, I would recommend it to people definitely. Bob, I think he will be above average. I don't know. You can say he's an above average centerman right now, but he has above average potential. And give the kid 3 more years at the most. Nick Suzuki, I don't think we're gonna question whether he is. Although saying that, and then you look at Kirby Doc, who's going to be behind him. Give Kirby Doc 3 years, and I could see Kirby Doc being the number one center. Why? Mostly because of size and skill and domination out there. So I'm not sure in 3 years, but I'll tell you, Nick Suzuki's only going to get better. And by no means is he a poor number one center. Poor is not fair for him at all. PK Subban, I remember that, and I've used that picture. It was PK Subban. Awesome. That was a good one, Lucas. Yep. And that's when he made that arrow to the rafters celebration. Can't forget that. That was against Boston, was it not? Did you say Boston? Peanut, stop it. And he answered me. Bob, you cannot in Quebec, though. Quebec doesn't allow the 4 plants. Some provinces do, some don't. Paul, you were not a Habs fan when you were first born, but your family, I know what you mean. If you go by that, then, it's been my whole life as well. But I was actively a Habs fan from 7 years on. Yeah, Joe, I know that, and I feel for you guys out there. But yeah, here it's the odd thing is that it's legal, yet there are more ways to get in trouble with it. Oddly enough, right? It's kind of weird, but they don't enforce a lot of that shit. And I'm not a public smoker very much anyway, so I don't really have I don't have a problem. Maybe Paul Peanut, that's what he wants. No, what's funny? If you know cats don't like closed doors, right? So if they're in here and I close the door to do this, and the reason I close the door is my son is in the front room and he's on doing stuff and he's loud and I don't need the noise, right? So if he was in here, he'd literally go cry to get out. I let him out, and then he sees the doors closed, and then in a few minutes he'll cry to get back in. And then it's just a constant, no, I'm not doing that. So he's got to suffer a little bit. We got 32 teams in the NHL, so the top 32 centers in the league are the number one centers. However, the center distribution is not perfect. Edmonton got 3. Well, I mean, okay, you can look at it like that, but if I don't know. Listen, not every team has a legitimate number one center. You could say Montreal is that way right now, but I mean, our centers are young, so give them a few years. You know what I mean? But I really think between Suzuki and Doc, there's going to be really good competition here for that number one spot, and it's going to be a great 1-2 punch. However it works out, it's going to be a great 1-2 punch. And believe me, Doc could be freaking dominating. I said it in the video, there were 5 games last year, at least 5 games where I found Doc to be dominating physically and skilled-wise on the ice in that game. And I think that's what he's going to grow into. So, Suzuki's your captain, and he'll probably still have the number one line. But man, the guy behind him is going to be goddamn good as well, and big at the same time. And there were some games where he just bowled through, like he just put out his hand and just went through everybody. Like he's got physical dominance potential that I think he's going to reach here in Montreal. It's going to be a good 1-2 punch, however they put them. Let's put it that way. Joe, I kind of have a little bit of sports asthma. So, I mean, I probably shouldn't be smoking, but I don't really enjoy vaping. And eating edibles just doesn't work for me. It's kind of hit and miss. And yeah, so I'm an old-fashioned guy. Paul, I think a lot of cats are like that. A lot of cats are just they don't like closed doors. Pittsburgh has had 2 number one centers. Yeah, listen, some teams are rich in that. I think now we've got 2 potential number one centers, and just have to wait for them to hit their I guess their primes. I mean, Renegade Man. That's why, or number 2, right? Like legitimate top 1-2 pairing, and that's why Reinbacher was such a, I think in the end, a good pick because you don't get those guys easily. David, I get that. And I didn't say that Monahan was a first liner. I said here in Montreal right now, that's the closest we got. That's what I said. So, yeah, no, I get that. He played most of the time on the second or third line in Calgary. So I know that. But I mean, here in Montreal with such a young team, right? He's the closest you got there. And I think he'll play well with Suzuki and Caulfield. But I think Slavkovsky's potential is a lot higher. Compare Suzuki with Pacioretty. Why would I compare Suzuki with Pacioretty? As far as, was Pacioretty a center? No, he wasn't. So why am I comparing them when we're talking about number one centers? Pacioretty, when he was here, mostly played with David Desharnais because we had nobody. It was the reason they went and got Drouin. Okay, Suzuki is the number one. I mean, he's a number one center because he is the number one center here. I agree with that. The number one D here is Matheson. I think that he's number 1. Now, who's number 2 is the thing, right? I think it's Gooley. I personally, right now, with the group that's going to be here for this upcoming season, it's Gooley. But I fear they're probably going to do what they did last year. No, that's when Gooley got hurt. Savard played there. Yeah, I think it's going to be Matheson Gooley. I mean, that's who I would put. Yeah, Joe, my cat's not the one that's meowing, but I have a female also. She likes to get up on my desk when I'm eating something. This cat doesn't care if she likes what you're eating, just wants to be there when you're eating. But I got so many things and so much equipment, I don't let her up here. So she tries, and from behind there, I've got kind of 2 desks here. And yeah, cats are like that. Whatever they shouldn't be doing, that's what they want to do. BL Hudson QB's the first wave, and I think Reinbacher the second wave when they're all here. I think maybe Mayu the year ahead of Reinbacher because I don't think Reinbacher will be here at the, start at the same time. But Hudson's definitely, I think, going to be the quarterback on the first wave. So basically getting a minute and a half of the power plays. Bob. And listen, the big problem here with Montreal has been the not being able to have enough is it mobility, enough puck movement from the back end. They can't release the forwards who are skating up through the neutral zone. You can't get them the puck at the blue line. It really affects the offense. So that's one of the reasons why Reinbacher is going to be fantastic here. That's exactly what we need here. There are a couple of guys right here, not like right with the team now, that can do that a bit, but not like Reinbacher. Especially if he hits his potential, Reinbacher can move the puck. He hits guys on the fly. I mean, this is what he does, as well as being a shutdown kind of guy. He's a really good two-way defenseman. And that's like that's the new modern defenseman. It's got to be a two-way defenseman. So as much as Reinbacher, they say defense is job one for this kid, shutting down plays. That's what he's best at, is shutting down plays, and however he has to do it, he shuts them down. And at the same time, turns around and releases the offense in transition. So, and we got somebody that does that here? No. Paul, I don't think Newhook will be the number 2 center. I don't see why that would be, unless Doc or Suzuki get injured. No, I believe they brought Newhook in to play wing, and in case of injuries, you got a really good another center there that is can play the position properly. But I don't think they brought him here to play center over Doc. And they made it clear that Doc is not a winger in their mind. He's a center, and they want to develop him as that. They've said that. So I don't think Newhook's playing. I don't think they brought Newhook in to play third line center. Although with the contract at $2.9 million, there's nothing wrong with that as far as the money on the contract. But I think he's going to be a left wing on the line too. Renegade Man, but that doesn't mean they're not better last year. You might be right that they can't jump over those teams, but they'll be better next year. But I think the results not going to be that huge. I think they make a run for a wild card spot to a certain extent, right? And they fall off in the last month or so and drop down to, probably picking between 12th and 14th. That's where I see them. We got the big pick the wrong year. Just like, you know what? Timing's everything. But it doesn't mean that, that's it. Oh, we're not going to win. We don't, whatever. You make the most out of it. And if they picked well and develop well, then I'm sorry, Slav is going to be a really good player here. And it's not going to mean that Montreal can't win or can't win a cup because they didn't get Bedard. Sure, it would have been great to have Bedard, but we didn't get him. Renegade Man, yeah. I mean, that's why Montreal took the kid, right? He's not, Reinbacher's not the kind of defenseman that you're going to find out there every year or that's easy to trade for. He's not. Okay, Shazam, then I'm going to ask you this. If Owen Beck makes the team, where does he play? And if you say fourth line center, I think you're wrong. Lucas, you know what? Good competition like that's not a bad thing, right? It makes these kids have to play harder if they want to win. And I think, over the next 3 years, and also, right, we're not really expecting them to be in the playoffs for 2 more seasons, and that's one of the reasons why. But over those 2-3 years, some of those teams that are up there ahead of us are going to drop off. Their windows are going to close. Hey, Paul, thanks, man. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the night and say hi to the cat, man. No, it's just like I don't think Beck is the number 4 center over Jake Evans. No, I don't agree with that personally. That's what I'm saying. Jake Evans was not as good last year, and if you mean that on an offensive standpoint, that was expected. They told him to concentrate on certain things and not worry about his offense. So, you know what? The team's happy with it. I don't see why he's not the 4th line center. He's signed on a good AAV for another year. I don't see why that changes. Not next season. Bob, he might play in the AHL. I mean, I think it's I don't know if it's more likely or as likely as the NHL, but I'm gonna just repeat myself, but it'll depend on his camp. If he has a really good camp, he's staying in the NHL. If he has a so-so or bad camp, he'll go down. Rem Pitlick wasn't as good as last year, that's for sure. And I think Rem Pitlick is going to get waived and then sent to Laval, or they're going to lose him in on waivers because they got to make room. And I think they're going to keep Hoffman here, try to get him going, and be able to get an asset for him at trade deadline. I think they got to give Armia away with a draft pick. I think they got to do that, or waive him and put him down in Laval. And you got to do that with Pitlick because I think Beck is going to make the team. And if the team feels that Joshua Roy is going to make the team too, well, they need 2 spots. And you got to make room. You think Kidney and Roy get put on the same line in Laval and rip it up? That could happen. Renegade Man, I agree with you. Slav will improve year after year. The main, if you look at it and go, well, how do his coaches feel about him and stuff? I think they, from what I heard them say, well, Marty anyway, they're very happy with his progress, and there's no trouble there. Joseph Galchenyuk does not come back with the Habs. For me, I'd like to see him be able to play somewhere, but it won't be with the Habs. I still don't think they're going to start Beck at 4th line. Joe, things will get interesting. This is going to be a good camp. A lot of competition for all the spots and quality competition, and it's going to be interesting for sure. Just that's you see, right? Look at we're talking about all these guys, and Ilonen's out there, or Ulinen, and they, there's a lot of guys here. It's going to be a lot of competition to win whatever spots are available. Renegade Man, I agree with you with Galchenyuk. Let's see what happens with him getting through the program. Once he comes out, yeah, I think there's a team that'll give him a shot, and he's still young enough to play for a few more years. So I wish him all the best. Elias Anderson, also don't forget, he's a project, though, right? And he's on a 2-way contract, so it won't hurt anybody. All right, that's it. I'm going to take off here, running late and all that. So thanks, everybody, for being here. It is well appreciated. Please check out my song that's out there or any of the other videos I've put out. And, yeah, till next time. And that next time will be I'm not sure, but Saturday Saturday, Pete's going to join me on Saturday. So that I don't have any videos like. Oh well, I'm working on the predictions. So if you guys have any predictions for this next season, the off season, anything, send them to me in my email. It's in the description, talkinghabs@gmx.com, and I'll get them into the video that I'm working on. So yeah, so if you want to give me any predictions and get them in a video, now's the time to do that. And that's it. So that's what I'm working on. And I'll see you next time. So thanks for watching. As always, everybody, it was another good night. And I'll see you soon. Till next time, stay safe. Peace out. And that's it. Ciao. Have a good night. It's still, well, it's almost 10. Still young enough. I don't go to bed for a few more hours anyway. So enjoy the rest of the night. And ciao, everybody. Bye. I'll stop babbling now.